Hey everyone, it's Mike, Monkey Fab Garage, monkeyfabgarage.com. I thought you guys might be interested in this in case you're doing something similar or attempting to. So I had this thing. We smoked that guy, completely my fault. Putting a new engine in it. Yay, it should be neat. But that's not the point of it. The point is, when I had the original, this is one of the first wiring jobs I did, and it was really bad. You don't know what you don't know. At least I knew I didn't know a lot, and I labeled everything. So it's been, I've been going back through it and cleaning out extra wires and things that are unneeded, etc. So we are to the engine, the Holley Harness time to integrate it into this guy and how I'm going to go about doing that. So before I just kind of unpeel back the loom from the harness. You can see like this. This is what your harness looks like when it's not loomed. I actually probably have a better. Here's what it looks like. Completely unloomed from the factory, etc. It's just one of these guys. So the one we're looking at is this one. That's been changed to be this one. Yes. So, we got that there. What I did originally, because I didn't know what any of the wires did or what they, it was magic. So it was witchcraft to me. So I knew if I just plug them in and then just, sort the wires out, I can't hurt anything. So that was good. First do no harm. And that's what we did. And what that turned into was a wad. If you ever been to the gas station in Texas and got one of those burritos, and it's about the size of that intake tube right there. That's what ended up behind the firewall, which wasn't really conducive for air conditioning and everything else. And then it was a mess in here because I just made stuff work and it was going all over the place. So what I want to do this time is really think it through, and that's what we've done. I've already went through this harness. I've swapped it over to 58X from 24X, and what the biggest thing I've done is I've just separated this all out. I've extended the CAN bus. It's always too short, but that's no big deal. I've added this wire here. This is our Tesla wire for my cam sensor because I had to lengthen that because the 24 is shorter than the 58, so I needed it to go to the front of the block, and just thought I'd make it look nice and professional. And then the rest, so the big fat guy that's always way too long, is the O2 sensor. So we're going to get rid of most of that, and then we're just going to put the right connector on it, so we don't need any adapter. So usually you have to put on an adapter or whatever. So we're just going to make our plugs match our actual sensor, so there won't be any adapters needed in this. And then the other thing that happens, I think, is the sensor and the 5-volt kind of get branched out to all these sensors, and that limits, because it becomes like a kind of like an octopus, and you're pulling on an arm, and the arm will only go so far, correct? So most of those sensors, I have them all out here, and I don't think this is necessarily a bad idea. I've had worse ideas. They're all laying over here, and I can just look and see what they are. So if I look at this guy, I can see that the black and white is a sensor ground. I can see the orange is a 5-volt, and that gray is the signal. I'll only have the signal guys. Some of these guys are just 2-wire. Like this is just 2-wire for the air intake temperature. All these little wires tend to get kinked up in this guy. So I've just cut back all that. So if it had a 5, usually they have either a signal, they have a signal wire. These are all just the signal wires. Then they'll have a 5-volt or a sensor ground, or a sensor ground and a 5-volt. So not a big deal. We know what we need. Like here's the CTS, so we know that needs a sensor ground, right? And I have that little head laying around here somewhere. So it'll make it easy. And then there's stuff, like I said, the wideband that had the wrong connector on it. The map sensor had the wrong connector on it. So we sell all those connectors over at Monkey Fab, so you can go over to Monkey Fab if you feel so inclined. We have the best thing you can do is we have a repin kit that comes with like everything you need, and probably then some extra pins and sills, and that makes it just really convenient. I think it's like 70, 80 bucks, 90, something like that. It's not bad when you consider you get all brand new pins and connectors, etc. So you can do the whole thing, and that way you don't have to pull the wires out. You can just leave them there, make it match up, easy peasy. But yeah, so that's what we've done. The only thing going into our connectors, and this also demonstrates something that's kind of, you can see on the chart, but you don't necessarily notice it when it's all tucked away, is you basically have an in and an out, right? So there's an in and an out, and the in is the in guy they call this the P1 or the J1, I've heard it called, is most of our ends. So all those are signal wires. And what I'm trying to do here is I want to have one continuous wire from the head to the connector. So that's optimal. I might fake it in a couple places if I have to. Like this, there's a couple, like I have a butt connector or a butt splice in there in a couple places. I'm just going to cut that whole wire out, redo that whole tree, use the right, just put in a whole new guy with a terminal, a brand new pin for that. So everything will, and then we can move it around. That's another thing with these relays, is that they're kind of short and limited to where you can put them. So once you know what everything does, then you can move it wherever you need to. So basically, I'm going to run these guys through our firewall over here and run them out to the engine. And what should end up happening is we end up trimming a bunch of wire off the end, like a haircut, and make it nice and neat and tidy, so things run like they were, like somebody looked at it and thought about it and said, this needs to go here, right? Yeah, so I think that should let you, that's a little up to date of where I'm at with this project. I put everything in that needs to be, wired, clipped. I've looked at this and I've thought about it, so I haven't thought 100% through, but I have a few options in the firewall here. Everything used to run just through this big empty hole you see right there. You see the silver shiny thing? Well, next to that used to be a hole, and pretty much everything ran through that, which is fine. What I'm going to do is just break it. I think I'm going to break it into 3 parts. I'm going to have stuff that needs to go over here to this side, stuff that needs to go over here to this side, and then the things that are for the engine. And so that most of our sensors, they'll have throttle body, the coolant temperature, the air, well, not the air intake, the exciter wire for the alternator, the map sensor, all that will run down the center, like here to this area. And then things that are not on the engine, like this flex fuel sensor that's down there, my fuel pressure sensor, the air intake sensor, I'll run those guys down this harness, and that way they'll clip into that stuff and it won't just have things running off the engine in odd ways. Over here, we'll run through on this side our wideband sensors for our crank position sensor and our cam position sensor. Will all kind of run out that side and go to the engine. Easy, right? And then when that should make the harness look relatively tidy. I'm gonna go for, everything kind of look like a nice braided kind of look. On this side is going to be, we're going to run all of our things we need to turn on. So the things we'll need to turn on or get signals from will be our air conditioner, which will be down there. We'll need to turn on our fan. I'm going to put a brushless fan in this guy this time. When we have that fan, in front of that will be the transmission fan. We'll have the air conditioner, kick, and we'll run this on this side. But I think I'm going to try to wire the original Volvo, since these didn't, the ABS just didn't work when I put everything back. I touched as little as possible last time, thinking maybe I could keep everything working, but the ABSs didn't work. So I'm going to make this into a wheel speed sensor and see if we can use that with this fancy Holley traction control that they got out there. So hope I didn't talk too much. Show you inside real quick where we're at in here. Everything's a disaster. I've been nonstop kind of grinding on this, but it's a lot better than what it was. Maybe I'll insert a picture of that here. But the Holley harness, the Volvo harness has all been pretty much wrapped and tucked back. The air conditioner unit is going to sit in front, so this will go kind of up and back there, and then the air conditioner unit will sit in this space here, and our Holley will sit in the glove box. So the glove box, it needs to end up like right around here for the Holley, and I've already got 2 of them positioned. One for the shifter, it's already wired, nothing really I need to do with that, and the power is hooked up, and I've got half of our drive-by wire guy done here. Now that I got the engine in, I can finish trimming this. You see, you get quite a bit of wire off that. This is all just wadded up into a big pile in there, and the air conditioner takes up a lot of space. So we're going to be doing all that. I'm going to get this guy here through the firewall and take a look and see how things lay. First, thanks for dropping in, checking out the video. Always appreciate you guys' support, supporting the website. Currently, I'm not much further along. We're just basically at the point where we're trimming these guys out and putting them to the sensors. So if you guys have questions, just feel free to drop them below. Please do like and share, subscribe. That all really helps. But I like to get this video out here. I feel like people have trouble with wiring. This perplexed me, and hopefully it can help somebody out there going through the same thing. Thanks. Mike from MugFabs.